And welcome back to the Excellency Light League Day 1 action. Game number 2 coming in between Lotus Black and Degenerates Ascension. Mr. Moose here, accompanied by the one, the only Axeman. Man, game number 1 was super fun. A very interesting battle that Lotus Black was able to end up defeating Degenerates in. And now we're going to see how game number 2 plays out for both these teams.
We sure will here, Moose, and that draft is coming up for you in just a little bit on your screen. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we got it up. Thanks, production. But we're into the first of the bands already, and taking off the table, it's just going to be the same bands so far here, Moose. No adaptations. Both teams just saying, you know what? You can pick it again. Go ahead and try it. And honestly, I don't know if that's a good idea for the Degenerates, but Lotus Black are sitting pretty.
Oh, no, they want to take away that set. They want to take away that Caitlyn. I've heard that the Caitlyn is extremely strong, but regardless, it's going to be a fun game as always. And the Diana is going to be taken away by the Degenerates, so no Solar Lunar duo coming in for Lotus Black in this one, but immediately Leona going to get picked up for Adorable, playing as Leona in that last game, performing really well on the champion. I mean, had some great solar flares to be able to get a lot of damage coming through. And are we going to get the Shen? We are. Degenerates picking up the Shen away from Kamentako. So Hajime now pulling out the Ninja, looking to be able to secure potentially a really good game with them as well. And the Severe for Vixus again.
You'll have to see it, Moose. They pick away the Shen. Good stuff there. And yeah, a note there on the Leona is that Leona had about 66% of the champion damage that their carry had there in last game. So a bit of a battle Leona situation. I'm not really sure where that damage was coming from, but it was coming from Leona at some point. That was a little wild, especially compared with the damage that the Thresh was putting out. But yeah, so the Leona first pick makes a lot of sense here. Mordekaiser locked into the Shen. It's a good matchup historically for the Mordekaiser, but maybe not as good on this patch as normal. Mordekaiser pretty weak at the present time. And the Kayn getting locked in as well. Like to see the Kayn. Blue Kayn pretty popular right now. Red Kayn not so much.
When has Red Kayn ever really been popular? He's not cool. Blue Kayn is always in style. Always, my man. I'm just kidding. But Blue Kayn OP. Anyway, like you said, we got the Mordekaiser coming through. The Kayn's going to come in, and Volibear is going to be the choice for Sweet Sadness here in game number 2. A really bruiser-heavy, tank-heavy front line. Going to be taken topside for the Shen for the Volibear. Another early game champion. The Volibear really loves to be able to get his laners into a good position. And so I'm really expecting a high-octane, really high-performing mid laner coming in from Hardstruck to be able to keep up with this early game pressure that they are building. Ashe is going to get banned out again, so no change there coming in from Degenerates. Lotus Black still needs to think about maybe a support and the mid laner, so we might be seeing some mid lane bans coming through unless they're worried about a potential support pick. Unless it's, Shen support and, we're having fun or something.
Yeah.
No, I kid. Shen support OP in silver level play. But no.
Yeah, River
Lotus,
Shen.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the Corki finally going to get taken out. I was waiting for them to get that ban, and they're going to finally take out the Corki in the mid lane.
Yeah, you definitely want to take that champion away. If the enemy mid laner mains it just gets out of hand really quickly, especially with a mid laner like Lotus Black's mid laner who just had such a great game on Kayle. Taking away the enemy hyper carry there too makes their life a lot easier. I don't think that Kayle game is half as successful if they have that long range Corki hitting them all laning phase, right? The Cinder was a lot easier for them to deal with, but last of the bands coming out, Tristana there. Another band hoping to be locked in from Lotus Black. Should be another mid laner, right? I mean, maybe you throw one at the supports here. Just going to ban away Jax, I guess? Not sure why, but That happened.
No, they're listening to me. They're saying it's definitely River Shen. It's definitely support Shen in this one.
Why would you pick Ornn? What? Ornn?
We
What?
got the Ornn picked out. Oh no! Welcome to the Light League, Axeman. Ornn is coming through in the top lane, so a little bit of missynergy there, lore-wise, between the Ornn and the Volibear. So we got to potentially look at that. I assume that it's going to be Ornn in the top lane. And then we've got the Shen in the support with then Volibear in the jungle, unless we have a very strange lineup. I have no idea at this point what Degenerates' plan is, but they've got, a really good knockup tool coming in with the Ornn. They've got Volibear that's able to really get things going in the early game. The Shen with the global ultimate. Lotus Black gonna say, okay, well, I mean, if you're picking an unconventional comp, we're gonna go with a ADC marksman that's gonna be able to shred tanks, and that's gonna be the Vayne. Really good pickup here. The Silver Bolts being able to get that percent damage, health against 3 tanks is gonna be huge, and then Cassiopeia with the dots to round out the lineup. Lotus Black with a really, I think, a solid match or a solid setup here in this one. What does Degenerates pick for the last pick? It's LeBlanc.
Okay. What?
So Axeman, when you run into a room with 2 axes, you're just expected to get them fly and you're expected to come through. But when you run in with, a pencil sharpener, you're not going to do much, and I feel like that's what we're getting here. I mean, you've got Severe with a little bit of damage, and, I mean, LeBlanc is going to assassinate, but I don't know. I'm not big brain enough for Degenerates right now to try to figure out what's going on here with this comp.
Yeah, no, the story of this draft so far is Degenerates keep picking tanks, and every time they pick a tank, Lotus Black picks a champion that loves to play into tanks. You got Mordekaiser, Kayn, Vayne, and Cassiopeia. Those are all incredible tank shredders, right? I mean, even Kayn, you go red Kayn, and you're doing tons of percent health damage and max health damage, all that good stuff, and you're coming out of your ultimate with your entire health bar refilled, all of that. This is just not a winnable game for the Degenerates. I don't know what happened with this draft. I still don't know where any of these champions are going to go. We could speculate, but we're not really going to know until we actually find out. But in any case, it's going to wind up with at least one of these champions in a role that they shouldn't be playing. And I don't get it. Unless they're going to tell us, one of these champions was the wrong one or something that I'm checking. No, it's not. They're all what they picked. So. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss here, Moose.
Confidence in the crazy is what we gotta say here. You gotta respect the fun play style coming in from Degenerates. I mean, you've got some really, I think, fun characters, some fun champions coming in. I mean, Ornn, once you get to level 14, you're able to get those extra, enhanced mythic items that Severe is going to love to get that Dust Blade potentially into a really and to get that upgrade to come through, and maybe the LeBlanc as well. But I'm still, like you said, I'm still at a loss to where everyone is going. I feel like it has to be Ornn top up against the Mordekaiser. The Volibear has to be in the jungle, and it's got to be Shen support with the Severe. Like, that's the only way that it makes sense to me for Degenerates. But we can talk about how the comp plays out when we actually see it, when they actually get into the draft. But for now, I mean, we kind of have a solid idea of what Lotus Black is trying to go for. They said, hey, they picked the Mordekaiser and the Kayn when they only had knowledge of the Shen. And then they said, okay, we're just going to pick more tanks. We might as well, pick more tank busters out of this one. And we got a front line with Leona and Mordekaiser. So I feel like they're just ready to go. Going to go all in on just trying to pick up a lot of early damage, just get into that position where they're able to, obliterate anyone that tries to go up against the Vayne. There's not a lot of, I guess, a lot of long engage, except if you use the Volibear ultimate. And it is going to be Ornn top lane, so it is Shen support. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the combination. The Volibear Ornn, I mean, they're not synergistic in lore. They're not synergistic in game. Ornn's very late game. Volibear's very early. Severe and LeBlanc, maybe that's what they're trying to go for, but man, I mean, this is going to be tough.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty tough here. And I think this draft was perfectly fine up until that LeBlanc pick, and now I just have too many questions, right? I want to talk about skill cap really quick. It's a gold league. This is light league, right? It's a gold players. We got a Cassiopeia on the table right now. Here, Moose, we got a LeBlanc on the table. There's a Kane here with the potential to go blue Kane, though I think at this point you probably just go red. There's so many tanks on the table right now. I don't know why you go blue, but those are hard champions, right? These are not easy champions. You need to have hours on them to be able to play them, and I'm pretty sure Stone Made Soft at least, right? Vayne too, by the way. Stone Made Soft at least picked this champion to be able to tank shred. They probably picked Vayne and able to be able to tank shred as well, which means they may well not have a lot of experience on these champions, right? Now, it might turn out that they play these champions all the time, but if they're just picking it because they know they're good against tanks, they might have a harder time than perhaps they realize operating these champions.
I think I'm much more confident in Smart Pants and Morpheus, in that argument, because, Smart Pants picked up the Kane because he picked up Kane third pick. They didn't know about the Volibear or the Ornn yet. So, he was, I think, pretty confident in the pick going forward. He said, I can go blue Kane, I can go red Kane. Either way, it'll be just fine. So I think Smart Pants should be okay with that one. I expect the same to be said maybe for Morpheus as well, because they knew that the Volibear was coming out. So they knew that it was going to be potentially at that point a tough and very tanky front line for Degenerates, and so the Vayne, good pick there. So I guess, with Stone Made Soft being the big question mark here, if Stone Made Soft does not have a good game, LeBlanc could potentially really have a good game against the Cassiopeia if she's able to use the distortion to be able to get away, to deny a lot of that damage from the slowing field, from the poison dart, or from the poison bombs. It could potentially be a good lane for Hardstock Brother to be able to get really good early on, get a lot of kills and a lot of gold, potentially carry this team into a point where the comp doesn't matter at that point. Like, I'm feeling so confident about our position that we're going to be just fine. And so I expect to see the Sweet Sadness really focus on this mid lane. I think the Volibear always really strong in the early game. If they can get Hardstuck Brother early kills, they might have a chance to win this one.
They definitely might, and a strong LeBlanc in that scenario that early in the game is going to be super damning for Morpheus down bot side on Vayne. You're not going to be able to get off the ground with LeBlanc in your lane constantly like that with a couple of kills under their belt from an early gank from the jungler, so that might be the Goldilocks scenario here for this team, for the Degenerates, and we'll hope to see they can make something to that effect happen. And really, my biggest fear for them so far is that they're not going to be able to get Vixis and Burn in Hell off the ground. That was a pretty bright point for this team in game one, was that Vixis was able to do tons of damage and the Burn in Hell was able to get some great picks. Vixis still has Sivir, but even though they do, that laning phase in game one left something to be desired, even though they had that effect on the mid-game team fights that they did. But it's going to be harder for them this go around with the Shen instead of the Thresh.
We'll see, and we will find out in about 90 seconds or so whether or not the unorthodox comp will work for Degenerates Ascension, or will Lotus Black take game number 2. We're going to find out in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And welcome back, folks. Excellency Light League action coming your way. Game number 2 between Lotus Black and Degenerates Ascension. And now, Axeman, we had a little bit of a conversation about this team comp for Degenerates. Now, the question mark is, do they get this win? Can they pull it off? And will they net themselves a win here in game number 2 today?
I don't know. It's looking rough right now. This is a weird comp from the Degenerates, and so either one of two things, right? Either they trolled, or they drafted this for a reason because they're practicing it and they know something we don't, right? And I'd like to give teams the benefit of the doubt, so we'll see what their big plan is here. But as far as right now, I don't have any info for you. I'm pretty confused on this one. I'm eager to see how they do this. Volibear, maybe no leash, I guess, top side start.
Maybe not. I mean, Volibear is pretty tanky. He's a tanky boy, and besides, Ornn doesn't like him, so he doesn't want help. No,
go.
I'm kidding. There, he's on his way. He is trotting along, ready to go. But you know, starting up red side here for Sweet Sadness, I like the idea, and I'm curious to see whether or not he decides to go for a invade into this blue buff to deny Smart Pants his second buff. I think that would be huge, and especially since there's a lot of potential for a Volibear to pop off in the early game. Could potentially be the play here. But it does look like, you know, there was some information gained. They do know that Sweet Sadness maybe went for the top side clear, depending on that missing call coming in from Common Taco. We'll see how it plays out for them as he goes in for the Raptors. Full clear going to come in from Smart Pants. But all in all, rune-wise, nothing too crazy, it looks like. Conqueror actually coming in from Stone Made Soft. I don't know if that is normal for Cassiopeia's. I don't think so. Maybe that was a mistake, but we'll see how it plays out for him. As we get a lot of damage, actually, from Heartstuck Brother already onto that Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
And that's going to be rough. I mean, no refillable potion. Going to end up having just one pot left. Picks up the early tier, which is probably, you know, the idea when you're playing Cassiopeia. But, man, you know, a little question mark there for that Conqueror.
Yeah, Moose, I got one for you. Bixis does not have Dark Harvest. It has lethal tempo. So probably not going to lethality build. No. Or at least that's what would make sense to me. I'm not sure if this is a mistake. I would actually put that forward, because I don't think on-hit Sivir is very good. You know, maybe I'm alone in that, but yeah, that would be my take on this. And I don't know if you go lethal tempo, even if you go like on-hit or crit Sivir.
I know that like there have been, I've been in games where it's like, hey, you don't want to go Dark Harvest, I'll go lethal tempo, and they'll go for, you know, kind of that more on hit severe, you know, trying to be able to go for maybe again, still trying to go for that early Manamune, as we do get a potential engage coming in onto the vein. There's going to be a lot of damage, but not quite enough, as we do end up getting a little bit of damage coming in onto both Morpheus and Adorable. Adorable does pop the ignite. But nothing too crazy so far yet. The gank was there, so a Summoner Spell burned, as it does look like we might be something in the mid lane. Oh my goodness, very close, but no cigar, and that will be it. First blood onto Hardstruck, trying to get the kill onto Stone Made Soft, but won't be able to get that extra little bit of of damage to get the kill.
It's a step towards Blue Cane as well. I still think you should go red here, but may well choose to go either at this rate. Normally you could tell they'll go like a red primary rune if you're going for Blue Cane, but you can easily go Conqueror for either, so it's not really a tell that they got Conqueror. And it's just one of those things that you don't have to decide before you go into the game, right? You can decide mid-game which one you want to go for. Heartstuck Brother, this should be the kill.
Oh, he does pick up the Ignite and will be able to get those Ethereal Chains, and it will be Heartstuck Brother being able to get the kill onto Stone Made Soft, to at least being able to go for a kill there, making it a 1-for-1 game. But the better back going to come through from Stone Made Soft. He does get a little bit of extra gold in the pocket. We'll pick up the Amplifying Tome, and actually a second Amplifying Tome. Not why one book when you could have two? And goes in for the teleport as well. Not going to be able to, or doesn't miss too much CS out of that one. That is an important part about these Summoner spells coming in. Heartstuck Brother picks up the Ignite, does not have that extra teleport. Hajime does, along with Common Taco, so that could potentially be those plays coming through for Lotus Black if they decide to make that happen. Mountain Drake is the first Drake coming up here for the for both these teams to go for. And I mean, with 3 tanks on the Rift for Degenerates, you would think that they're going to try to immediately go for this first Mountain Drake. We'll see if they do decide to get it. An Ocean Soul would be lovely, I think, again, for Degenerates if they are able to get it. We'll see how it plays out for them. But for now, does look like a potential gank. No, just a little bit of ward clearing coming in from Sweet Sadness. He hasn't come back yet. Going to be able to go back, picks up some early items, and so far, even game, 400 gold in the lead actually for Lotus Black, attributed to a couple of that first blood and a little bit of CS advantages across the Rift. But so far, overall, both these teams trying to do what they can.
Moose topside, Hajime has been putting on a clinic on how to rule your top lane kingdom. Set up a fantastic freeze up top lane and got a massive CS lead. Was able to slow push a big old wave up into the top side onto Common Taco. And Taco is just now starting to catch up. He was down 25 CS previously. Now he's taking that wave, and Hajime has given himself this timer to walk down with his team for this first objective, and that makes this dragon pretty much spoken for, right? There's no real opportunity for the enemy team to look to steal this dragon.
Yeah, shoutouts to Hajime. I think that was a really good play, picking up that engage. It does look like they're going to try to get the knockup on it too. Stone made soft, but the slow was there, and the extra movement speed going to proc. Stone made soft going to be able to get out of that one, and Hajime will trot his way back up to the top lane, missing a little bit of CS out of that one, but at the end of the day, we'll be able to secure a dragon as we do get a potential kill on it too. Adorable, no, the nice flash away to be able to survive that one. Now Degenerates trying to be able to escape. Will be burning hell being able to get away as we do get the Volibear trying to get the slow. Does not go in for the stun and ends up disengaging. I don't know. I feel like they could have gone for that one. I feel like that could have potentially been a good play for them, but maybe just worried about the health bars. Gonna go back. Going to allow Sweet Sadness to get his jungle camps and move forward along his build. But yeah, you know, Dragon going to be picked up there for Degenerates. We've got a Cloud Drake for Drake number 2. So it is either an Infernal Soul or an Ocean Soul there, Axeman. Take your pick for game number 2.
We're going to double down on Ocean here. Go double or nothing. See if we can't get ourselves a number 2 victory there. Get 2 out of 3. Soulmate Soft takes a bunch of damage. Eats that Ignite as well. Heartstuck Brother maybe finishing them off. Oh, not close enough. Not quite there. That'll be Stonemade Soft taking the reset, I'd imagine. Yeah, Smart Pants looking for an angle in on this one, but you can't 1v1 the LeBlanc, not at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, top side, things going sideways for Hajime all of a sudden as that freeze is no longer available for him, and Mordekaiser does win this matchup in open space like this, so it's going to be taking a lot of poke damage, a lot of harass.
And with that, you know, trying to be able to keep up in CS, and only a 5 CS advantage there for Hajime, who, remember, he walked all the way up from Dragon, used his ultimate on Stonemade Soft, but wasn't able to get the kill, and walked his way and waddled his way up to the top lane. So he still has his teleport ready to go. It is going to be called the Forge God ready in just a moment for him to use if need be. But shout out again, you know, Adorable working really well on these wards. A 6 vision score right now, was able to spot out a potential gank coming in from Sweet Sadness. And so this Volibear in the early game, you know, I would expect a little bit more out of this one, but nothing too crazy just yet. Is in the top side, Call the Forge God going to come through. What a flash from Common Taco, going to deny the knockup, and there's going to be a lot of damage coming in, and it'll be Smart Pants 77 with the smite to get the kill. Volibear trying to do what he can, the obliterate damage, going to try to be able to keep him alive as we get to see Sweet Sadness using Stormbringer defensively to stay alive from that Umbral Trespass. My goodness, Common Taco already dishing out damage against this Volibear.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The build path you're going here for Sweet Sadness, if you have to use Stormbringer defensively, it cuts so much damage out of your kit here. You had this AP that you're building towards, and it gives you a ton of damage on that ultimate. And yeah, if you're using it to get out of a scrap like that, you really can't fight without it. And that really kills your potential at that stage. So I don't think he was going to fight him 1v2 anyway, but yeah, no, not a good situation there for him. As far as just the Ornn, unfortunate scenario, right? You come out of the Death Realm, Common Taco just drops it on you. Nothing you can really do about that, and Smart Pants is right next to you, 2v1, and there's just enough damage there to take down the Ornn. So it feels pretty bad for him, but I don't think you could step out too far here. You're hyper tanking to Mordekaiser.
And now it looks like they might try to go for the Rift Herald. Oh no, Sweet Sadness gonna have to use his flash to get away. And that's the second game in a row for Degenerates where they've started the Rift Herald and had to disengage, and it's cost them dearly for it. They're gonna end up not being able to get that Rift Herald despite all of the effort put into it. And that's bad news bears yet again, as it does look like there might be an engage again on to a Hajime in the top lane. As they try to go in for this one, trying to be able to get something. Umbral Trespass is not active this time. Hajime, with enough health, will be able to survive. But unfortunately, yet again, in the top lane, Lotus, Black, coming out pretty nicely in that one, denying the Rift Herald, getting Hajime to go back. He still has his teleport, has not used that teleport yet in the game. And so I'm waiting to see him actually use it, as it does look like we get some action in the mid lane. It's going to end up being Petrifying Gaze.
Wow.
What a Petrifying Gaze coming through from Stone Made Soft. The final little bit of that Ignite from Heartstruck will make it a 1-for-1. As we go into the bottom lane, teleport's going to come through from Hajime. The Call of the Forge God is there. Into the knockup, onto Adorable, and on to Morpheus. But they don't have the follow-up damage. Bixis, without mana, decides to say, no way, Jose. On the Hunt is still active for them, but with 4 members of the red team now in the bottom side, they're going to pick up most likely Dragon number 2 here. And now we get to see whether or not it is an Ocean Soul. It is an Ocean Soul again, Axeman. So 2 for 2, as we get to see potentially a kill on 2.
Wow.
Smart Pants. There's the damage that you were talking about. That's 2 stacks on that Dark Seal for Sweet Sadness, as he obliterates the Kayn.
Yeah, the AP ratios in Volibear are so extreme that even just a little bit of AP coming from your runes and from that Amplifying Tome are going to give you so much damage and really, really good returns there. So you see how much damage that ultimate is capable of doing when you build towards this build path. I'd like to see what he looks like after he takes that reset. They're going to try and get this Rift Herald too, have their cake, and then eat it as well, Moose, but they're gonna be contested. Soulmate Soft. Wow, that's a lot of damage.
Oh, that's so nasty. Onto Heartstruck. He's going to be completely out of that game as the Death Realm comes through. Onto the jungler. Volibear is going to get taken away.
Holy cow.
Kamitako not only takes the Rift Herald, but takes down Volibear,
Whoa.
Shen, and the Ornn as well. That is Kamitako with a highlight play in the Baron Pit. Bixis and a consolation prize will take down Adorable, but the man of the hour, Kamitako, takes down 3, gets the Rift Herald. The cake is a lie. Gladys has entered the building, and unfortunately for Degenerates, that is going to degenerate any chance that they have of winning this early game.
Yeah, Degenerates kind of baiting themselves a little bit there with that cake, and you go for an objective without smite. You're playing with fire, and oh man, Soulmate Soft just gets ripped apart here in the mid lane. Yeah, that's a nice chunk of damage there. That Nashor's is almost completed so far for the Volibear here, and he's doing tons of damage already. That bow gives you so much attack speed and so much on-hit damage, and once you have that passive stacked up, you can really shred any champions down, and Stone Made Soft just doesn't have the movement speed to get away from the Volibear.
Not quite yet. I mean, if you guys know, Cassiopeia does not get boots. I mean, she has no place to put them. Her tail or her slithery slither is made for slithering and not for walking, and so doesn't have that extra movement speed until she gets up higher in level. But again, you know, that's going to be a lot coming in from for Kamitako. 3-0-1 picks up first tower with that as well. I don't think he even needed to use that Rift Herald, but ends up dropping it anyways. Maybe in the, I'm not actually sure where he dropped it, but he doesn't have it now as we get something maybe in the bottom lane. Stormbringer not going to land the intangibility onto the turret, not going to be able to disable it, so that gank does not work out for them. And right now, I mean, with the gold lead at about 4,000, Kamitako is way in the lead. That is pretty much where all the gold is at right now. I at 4K gold, Kamitako at 7.1, already has the Rift Maker, looking to go for the second item as well. I mean, this Mordekaiser is already packing a punch.
Really is, right? And Riftmaker is such a big spike for the Mordekaiser. That Omnivamp is crazy form. You start getting the tick damage from your passive, especially onto these hyper tanked melee champions that you're playing against right now up topside. And you're just getting free sustain in these fights. And that's how he gets those multi-kills like that triple kill we got back at back at the Rift Herald as he has the Leeching Leer, is able to sustain through that damage. There goes the Death Realm.
Oh, trying to be able to...
Yeah.
Oh, that's just nasty. That's just mean. That can't be legal. That is... Oof. That Obliterate? And he's hit so many of them already. It's just rough. I mean, he might just carry this game at this point. I mean, 4-0-1, he might as well just get the Dark Seal at this point and just go to town as he continues to use the Death Realm effectively. Gonna get a little bit of damage onto Hajime as well, with the turret about to go down. Ocean Drake is about to spawn in about 30 seconds, Axeman. And I mean, the only saving grace for Degenerates right now is, you know, I don't even know where the saving grace is. I mean, the 3-stack Dark Seal on Hardstruck, trying to be able to get that first myth or get that mythic item, it's rough, you know, it's 17 minutes in.
Well, so far they have all the dragons that they can continue to control that objective. Eventually it's going to start paying off for them with that Ocean Soul. So it needs to start here, though, and I'm worried they just don't have the pressure anymore to go for this dragon. So that might not be a bright point for them anymore. But yeah, well, they're going to try and contest.
Yep, Call of the Forge God going to get used, but it's not going to be able to come through as we do get Ross picking up the dragon. Volibear is going to be able to take down Bane, so that's a big power not going to be there. Bix is going to take the kill on Stone Made Soft, but everyone is so low. The Rift Maker getting so much damage as we get Sweet Sadness trying to be able to get the double kill. Does get the double kill, but now it's a double kill for Smart Pants, and no. Common Taco is looking to get the triple kill. Tries to go for the flash, not going to be able to get it. Hardstruck Brother will be able to escape yet again, but everyone remaining in range of Indestructible coming through with the Darkness Rise coming in from the Mordekaiser, just dealing so much damage in that team fight. Going to get Common Taco 6-0-3, and on top of that, Smart Pants goes 4-1.
Common Taco making a pretty good argument for an MVP here in this series. This is pretty nuts of a performance. You remember, this is the same guy that was 8-2-12 on Shen in the last game, and now he's having this kind of game on Mordekaiser. Neither of those two champions I would call like top laners right now, but he's playing them so well that it's just not mattering, right? I mean, this is a fantastic matchup for Mordekaiser, so you know, you take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but even then, he's still having a great game. And that's worth celebrating for sure. Got the 40 CS lead over the Ornn. The KDA speaks for itself, all that good stuff. And he's on his second item now.
Yeah, and that's it. You know, Demonic Embrace along with that Rift Maker. He also has an extra stopwatch, going to be able to go for that third item, Zhonya's, very soon. The Zenith Blade going to land onto a untanky Sweet Sadness on that Volibear. Much more sadness than sweet at this point in the contest. 4-4-1. Look at all the melting pressure that this Vayne and Cassiopeia are able to do together onto this Rift Herald. They don't even need the extra 15 seconds. They're just going to be able to get the Rift Herald down, and that's going to be another neutral objective in favor of Lotus Black on the top side. But I know I want to point out again, you know, in the when I was talking about this in the early stages of today's block, you know, Common Taco and Smart Pants, they were on Lotus White, which ended up winning the Light League last split in the summer. They performed exceptionally well, and they're looking to try to make that a repeat. They're showing off their synergy here today. Combined, they are 10-0-6. Which is a really good score for a top laner and a jungler. The synergy is there. And everyone else, Stonemate, Soft, Morpheus, Adorable, they are playing to their strengths. They are playing their roles well. And so far, I mean, everyone on Lotus Black performing admirably. Degenerates, despite the synergy that they haven't really been able to get themselves into a decent position yet. 20 minutes into the game, 7,000 gold in the deficit. 2 minutes remaining until the next Ocean Drake spawns, which they could potentially get to go for the soul points. It's just rough. I mean, what do you do if you're Degenerates to try to get back into this game?
Well, you play for the late game. I'll tell you how much that Ornn gives you so much potential in that back end. Along with the Sivir, with the build that they're building currently with the Kraken Slayer, you try and play for the late game, but a couple things working in your favor. It's just the one dragon so far for the Lotus Black, so you don't have to worry about that Dragon Soul coming for another 15-20 minutes or so, which is very good here. If you're Degenerates Ascension, you're thanking your lucky stars you got those early dragons. But yeah, apart from that, defending your structures is going to be paramount for them, because that's how they're going to drag these games out. And paired up with that as well as defending this Baron and making sure they're not giving that up, because it's basically the same as giving up your structures. So they start to build up some vision control around the top side of the map, and that's what they're doing. And it's going to help them try and stall this game out here.
And that's going to be what they're trying to do. You said it correctly. I mean, the vision is there on their side of the rift for Degenerates. They've got some wards ready to go, potentially, if they try to pursue in. But there's no chance that Degenerates is going to push forward into
scimitar?
any of their structures. That is a Marushial Scimitar, and that is going to be in a direct counter to Common Taco. Wants to be able to get out of that Death Realm, be able to use that there. So a little bit of a pit stop actually coming in for Vixis that he has to go for. I mean, he can't be alone against a 6-0-3 of Mordekaiser at this point in the game. And so he's going to go for that one. And I don't think he's confident enough to be able to predict it with the spell shield. So just decides to go for it. Second item. I wouldn't have upgraded it. I would have just kept the QSS
that's what I'm
at
thinking.
that point. Like, that's my only complaint there. I feel like, pick up another item because he's going to need it. Maybe he just says, hey, I'll take the extra 20% critical strike chance at this point. Why not? I got Kraken Slayer. It'll be cool. But, again, there could have been other stuff that he could have used. He doesn't even have boots yet. I would love to have gotten boots.
Yeah, he doesn't have boots, but not only that, he has cleanse, right? I mean, he didn't necessarily need the QSS. I guess having more cleanses is better than having one, but you also have the spell shield on top of that as well, which is really good for blocking Mordalt, because that channel time, first of all, it's super telegraphed, right? He walks up to you, and what else is he going to do? Second of all, you're blocking an ultimate with a basic ability, which is incredibly efficient. And even if you miss it, you still have the cleanse. So it's kind of weird to see him build the QSS, but we won't harp on him too much. Actually, yeah, now we will, because you get grounded, and there's nothing you can do about it with any of those tools. So, yeah, I don't know. I figured I'd point it out.
That's rough. I mean, you have the QSS, you've got the cleanse, you've got the spell shield, and you don't get to use any of them, and you still die. And now it's going to end up being, Lotus Black saying, hey, your ADC, your marksman is a down. Let's just go for Baron. We're going to get the teleport play coming in from Common Taco to be able to get that extra damage into this one. Going to be able to get that passive and that extra damage in already. A lot of damage coming through, and we're going to potentially see something come in. We got the Stormbringer. Ooh. Not going to be able to get it close, though, from Sweet Sadness, but he will not be able to survive this one. Common Taco is godlike as he takes the bear into the Death Realm and ends up getting him to go down.
Yeah, that's good stuff there. You get a lot of nice stats out of that, because Sweet Sadness is building exactly the stats you want on Mordekaiser, so that feels pretty good. But yeah, kind of weird to see him build the Frost. What is it called? Frostfire Gauntlet? Yeah. The blue tank item, whatever they call it nowadays. I don't know. It just seems kind of weird. They have a massive front line, right, from their team comp from Ornn, and with Burn in Hell also, by the way, just building a full tank item, not even a support item there too. So it's a little weird to see him go from Nashor's Tube directly into this hyper tank item. I'm interested to see the rest of the build. I'm worried we're not going to be able to see it though, as this game seems to be coming to a close with an 11k gold lead over on the side of Lotus Black.
Yeah, I think it's just, the beginning of the end. I mean, it's the same thing as that last game. When you get Common Taco on Shen. He had now 7-0-3, has a majority of the kills and majority of the gold. I mean, we're looking at these obliterates and a solo kill or a solo champion dealing probably 1,000 gold or 1,000 damage, if not more. At this point, if he's able to get that solo hit on it, get that extra enhanced damage. Gold-wise, I mean, he's massive. He's the richest man on the Rift by 2,000 gold, and the second richest man on the Rift is his compadre Smart Pants at 10k. There's 22,000 gold in the top lane and the jungler right now that Degenerates has to deal with. We've got a 3-man push in the bottom lane to try to be able to get the inhibitor tower to go down. And so the siege has now begun. The Death Realm is going to come through, and it does look like Hygiene may. Oh my word! I don't know if you saw that on your screen, but that was against a tank. 800 damage on that obliterate. Yucky is the word.
Yeah, no, it's just wild. And you're talking about him being the richest man on the Rift right now. By my math, he has about 500 gold per minute, where a healthy amount of gold per minute is like 300. So he's almost double that rate right now. And I mean, you could definitely see why he's just so far ahead at this stage. Ornn just completed his own Ornn item. I don't think he's going to get to upgrade anybody else, because this game seems to be coming to a close, Moose.
I think you're right about this one. Heartstuck Brother gonna have to run away, almost getting chunked down away by Stone Made Soft. They had a decent early game, but Stone Made Soft was able to stay strong and is a 3-item champion herself. Leandri's with that Seraph's Embrace along with that Zhonya's. We've got Hit Baron still up for about another 8 seconds. A nice use of the Stormbringer into the Call of the Forge God, but the wallet is just too big. Common Taco with the diamond hands, and he smashes down against Degenerates. Gonna be able to pick up that legendary stat. 8-0-7, 6-1-6 coming in from Smart Pants, and this game is over. Nothing that Degenerates Ascension can do. Lotus Black with a dominant 27-minute win.
My favorite part about this team so far, Moose, is that we don't even know what happens when they get threatened around the bottom side of the map. That last double kill that Morpheus picked up were the first 2 kills he got that game. like they didn't even threaten the bot side. So what happens when a team they go up against a team so good that Morpheus is actually forced to get used in these team fights and actually try and carry? I don't know, but Morpheus seems like a fantastic AD carry, and I don't know if it's going to matter, to be honest. This team seems like they have almost limitless potential in every single area, and so far the only really power they've shown us so far is in the top side, and I would love to see this team try and focus around the bot side and see what they could do with that play style.
The damage dealt by Common Taco is more than what Bixis and Sweet Sadness and what Hardstuck were able to do combined. 21,000 damage for Common Taco. That is a huge number comparatively to everyone else. The most damage that anyone did on the Rift for the red team for Degenerates was Bixis at 11K. I mean, a really phenomenal game, and it all went downhill at that Rift Herald. And that's going to be, a really big talking point coming through, I think, for Degenerates moving forward when they watch this game back in replay. Why do you go for that Rift Herald after you get a really good play in the bottom lane? You pick up the Dragon. You try to go for the Rift Herald as well for the risky play. I respect the risk. I respect, trying to go for that all in, saying, hey, if we can get this Rift Herald, we really snowball. But you give a triple kill and the Rift Herald over the Common Taco. It just doesn't work out. And at that point, Lotus Black was just able to steamroll Common Taco at the front of the charge, just, dealing the damage, and there was nothing that Degenerates could do to stop it.
For sure, yeah, and I think you nailed it right on the head. That Rift Herald play was super greedy, especially without Smite. I feel like even if you have Smite, that play gets at least 80% better, right? Because you're actually able to secure the objective. Even if you give up the triple kill over to the Mordekaiser, you end up with a tool that you can use to knock down some structures, maybe open up the map, give yourself some more map pressure so you can continue taking the drags. But yeah, it doesn't have Smite, drops that Rift Herald, drops the triple kill, and all of a sudden they have no way into the dragons, which was their win condition up till that point. They had all the dragons, and there was just nothing they could do after that.
Nope, not at all. And unfortunately, that will be it for game number 2. But the day is not over yet here in the Light League, X-Man. This is a 3-game block between Lotus Black and Degenerates Ascension, and we have got one more game left to play. I am super excited to see how this one is going to play out. But before we do, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we will be back before you know it. Game number 3 coming in just a moment. Stay tuned.